of peace.
Here we witness someone whose spirit was overpowered. And when I look at this and try to bring it to us as young people, I realize that we may be sitting in this consultation, but our spirits are overpowered. Our spirits are overpowered by what we see. It could be the people that we associate with, the gangs we associate. It could be the cliques that you identify with. Because sometimes when our spirits are overpowered by other people who have influence on us, we lose our identity very easily. And many of us are no longer who we were before, because something had infiltrated us, and unfortunately it had power over us, that I am no longer who I was. This man, we know from the story that there were political powers that provoked him to do what I call self-abuse. And in his self-abuse, no one was able to restrain him. Many a times, what we go through in life, it is not what other people have done to us more than what we have done to ourselves. Many a times, when things are not going well, we always look for someone to blame and forget to look in the mirror and do a self-introspection and begin to ask a question, but how did I end up in this situation? And so this man, we are told that he was a danger to the society, but also a danger to himself. We have young people here who are dangerous to the community, but they are our own members. Young people who are dangerous to the life of the church, instead of them being proactive and building the church, but we have got young people whose agenda it is to destroy the work of God within the church because they are overpowered by the evil spirits. But we have young people who are not only dangerous to this movement, but they are danger to themselves because they keep on inflicting pain on them. And when you have inflicted pain on yourself, the pain in yourself becomes exposed. And when it is exposed outside there, you become so vulnerable. That is looking for anyone that it can take a revenge on. And so we gather sometimes as young people in this convention just to have a revenge on someone. So this is the man that we see in this graveyard. This man was living in a solitude. Something that pushed him out of the comfort of the community was his attitude. Something that pushed him outside this community was his behavior. Because sometimes you need to ask yourself, why is it that you are not accepted in many cycles, especially those cycles that are productive, especially those cycles that are there to develop you, form you, nourish you, and make you a better person. You are pushed away and you push yourself away because of your behavior. So the behavior of this man made him to find himself an outcast, and he went to live in the graveyard. A story was told. I don't know who told the story, but I recall the story. The story goes as follows. A man who came to Ncombo looking for employment did not find employment, could not find a place to stay. And he looked around and realized that if I sleep in the streets of Joburg, people will dispossess me of what I have, and I may not find my clothes the following day. And therefore he walked around and found graveyards and decided to sleep right in the graveyard. And he knew that at the graveyard he was safe because no one would bother him. But day one he slept there comfortably, but also he spotted him and said, there is a strange thing happening to the graveyard. The following day they decided to go and attack him. While he thought that he was in a safe place of the dead people. But these thieves approached him and they asked him, who are you and what are you doing here? Because they wanted to take whatever he has. And the man responded to them, what to go? I just needed some fresh air. I'm going back to my room. And immediately they all ran away. And he went back to sleep. You see, sometimes, whether you want to live and stay in isolation, you are not safe in the place of isolation. But sometimes it is good to find yourself in the graveyard. Because if the man was not staying in the graveyard, Jesus could not have met him. If the man did not stay in the graveyard where people have given up on him, if the man did not stay on the graveyard where the society says you don't belong to the society, it is Jesus who locates us and finds us in the graveyard. It is Jesus who goes around as a fool. So it was not a bad idea for him to be on the graveyard. But the bad thing about the graveyard is that in the Jewish culture, this man was in touch with the dead bodies. And therefore, in their own culture, he was impure. How often in the church, as we try to discern about social holiness, how often when we see people that are coming from the world and we look at them and say to them, they are impure. Silibare, kukuwe tutiko, akazelanga malungisa. Silibare, owe tutiko, akazelanga, atikayeteta, atikrisha, adifuneke, kwaba pilalo, difuneke kwaba pilalo. The gospel that we need to preach is the gospel that needs to take us to the graveyard where things seems to be dead. By the way, who can just say that is a graveyard? And I was born as a graveyard. You see what puts you there? In the graveyard, this man had 6,000 spirits that were living in him. Because when he was asked his name, he said, my name is Legion, because in me we are many. There are people, young people, who are living with what is known by the doctors, the psychologists, what is called multi-personalities. Namhlanje nilento ngomso uyenito. I think we need to take it upon ourselves to know people's behaviors. Singazibhaqi sikhokhelwa kolulutsha ngabantu abane-multi-personalities. Uyayazi multi-personality laa mntu xa isafuna ukonyula kwegedi nabe ngathi unge kakhulu. And nimthande, yazi, nimthande because this one will make it. But when time comes, because that time comes, the true person comes out. So, he had what is called the dissociative and obsessive compulsive disorder. Go and Google that. And the church is struggling today because the church is full of people who had disorders. If I had time, President, I would talk about the disorders of the church and Christians. But be that the case, we are still, when the society sees an untreatable condition, because we are saying, the state in which you are is an untreatable state by the world, but we are still the same untreatable condition. We are still does not come with the word access. We are still does not come with the word healing, but we are still which it is a that's what God does when He wants to change your personality. God is dedicated to it. Let's go to this communion. But as we go to this communion, I want to say, as we reimagine and as we rediscover our identity, we have a God whose power is to transform. So no matter how hard and how difficult is your condition, no matter how many spirits that have infiltrated you, no matter how much you are possessed by the evil spirit, but there is a God who comes to us. And when that God comes to us, that God will look at us and speak to the spirit and say to the spirit, come out of him. President, the women of a convention, yes, it's tea. I don't know what spirits are holding young people, but I do know that there are many spirits that are a setback to us. Sometimes this spirit that holds you, the spirit of envy, the spirit of jealousy, the spirit of